Hello sir, let me introduce myself. My name is Trialderu Iriansyah from Meteorology B2 from Major of Meteorology. And right now I want to make a task about keynote speech with my title El Nino and La Nina Navigating Nature Rhythms. Good morning, esteemed guests, colleagues, fellow scientists, and students. Today we gather to discuss two of the most influential forces shaping our planet's climate, El Nino and La Nina. Though they originate far out in the tropical Pacific Ocean, their effects are far-reaching from droughts in East Africa to floods in South America and from wildfires in Australia to food shortage here in Southeast Asia. Understanding this phenomena is no longer an academic pursuit, it is a practical necessity, because the truth is simple. We all live under the influence of ENSO, whether we realize it or not. Meteorology is no longer just about whether or not it will rain tomorrow, it's about forecasting climate anomalies that affect agriculture, water resource, health, and disaster preparedness. As climate change accelerates, the stakes grow higher. Droughts become longer, rainfall becomes more erratic, tropical cyclones become stronger, and the risk to human lives and livelihoods increases. At the heart of this variability is the El Nino Southern Oscillation, or ENSO. Understanding ENSO gives us the power to see beyond the immediate weather, to anticipate seasonal shifts that influence everything, from rice harvest in Java to fire outbreaks in Kalimantan. Let me take you back to a moment I won't forget. Several years ago, I was stationed in Donggala, Central Sulawesi, during strong El Nino. The rains didn't come on time. Reservoirs began to shrink, paddy fields lay cracked and barren. Fires broke out in the surrounding hills. Fishermen complained that fish stocks had moved too far offshore. One morning, a local farmer approached and asked, in Indonesian, "Bapak, apakah hujannya akan turun minggu ini? Kalau tidak, kami tidak bisa tanam." That question stuck with me. Not because I didn't have data, but because it reminded me that our role as meteorologists is not just about observe, but to serve. To translate satellite image and forecast models into decisions that people understand, trust, and can act upon. Okay, what is ENSO? ENSO is coupled ocean atmosphere phenomenon that drives change in temperature, wind, and rainfall across the tropical Pacific and beyond. It has three phases. The first one is El Nino, the warm phase. The second one, La Nina, the cool phase, and the last, neutral condition. During El Nino, sea surface temperatures in the central and eastern Pacific rise by more than 0.5 Celsius. Trade winds weaken, convection shifts eastward, and rainfall in places like Indonesia declines dramatically. During La Nina, the opposite happens. Cooler waters dominate the central Pacific, trade winds intensify, and Indonesia often experiences wetter than normal condition. Each cycle can last 9 months to 2 years, and the full ENSO cycle tends to recur every 2 to 7 years, but it never exactly predictable. What makes ENSO so complex and powerful is the way the ocean and atmosphere interact. During normal condition, trade winds push warm surface water westward toward Indonesia, causing upwelling of cold, nutrient-rich water of South America. But in an El Nino, those trade winds weaken. Warm water moves east, the cold upwelling stops, the water circulation weakens, rainfall moves away from the Southeast Asia, drought sets in. In La Nina, the system amplifies in the other direction. Trade winds strengthen, warm water pulls even more in the west, and intense convection returns to our region. This ocean atmosphere shifts ripple across the globe, what scientists call teleconnection. The ENSO system is like a climate domino effect. El Nino tends to bring drought to Indonesia, Australia, and India, floods to Peru and Ecuador, coral bleaching in the Pacific, favor Atlantic hurricanes. La Nina tends to bring heavy rainfall to Indonesia, Papua New Guinea, and northern Australia. Colder winter in Canada and northern US, more hurricanes in the Atlantic, dry spells in South America West Coast, and these impacts can destabilize economies, worsen humanitarian crisis, and even trigger food price volatility on a global scale. Indonesia is one of the countries most directly affected by ENSO. During El Nino, we often face delayed monsoon onset, forest and peatland fires, haze across Southeast Asia, reduced rice production, and water shortage. During La Nina, we get urban and rural flooding, landslides and hilly terrain, crop losses due to waterlogging, disease outbreaks such as dengue and diarrhea. In 2015 to 2016, the El Nino even caused rainfall deficits of over 60% in some regions. In 2020 to 2021, La Nina broke flood anomalies exceeding 150 to 200% of normal rainfall. This is not hypothetical, it is a lived experience. To track ENSO, we use TAO or Triton buoy arrays in the Pacific, Argo floats measuring temperature below the surface, satellite imagery for sea surface temperatures, clouds, and rainfall. Climate models including the Oceanic Nino Index or ONI and Southern Oscillation Index or SOI. In Indonesia, BMKG provides ENSO forecasts to ministries, farmers, disaster agencies, and the general public. This information guides planting calendar like Katam, disaster contingency plans, and even school closures during severe haze or flood events. Still, forecasting has its limits, and so remains unpredictable during March to May, what scientists call the spring predictability barrier. With global temperatures rising, a big question remains. Will climate change make ENSO stronger and more frequent? Studies suggest it might. A warmer ocean provides more fuel of extreme El Nino or La Nina events. Some models project a doubling of extreme El Nino events by the end of this century. If that's true, Indonesia will need to adopt not just the past ENSO behavior, but to new extremes we've never seen before. That means investing in climate-smart agriculture, strengthening water management system, and sensing early warning system for disaster. Forecasting is not enough. We must build systems that translate science into decision, reach the village level, empower citizens to act. Examples include BMKG climate field schools that train farmers, SMS alerts to rainfall anomalies, village-based fire prevention teams, cross-ministry coordination to preparation aid. We must move from reaction to anticipation. Indonesia is a young nation. Over 40% of the population is under 25. Our youth are not just the most vulnerable to climate change, they are also our greatest hope. We must bring ENSO education into schools and universities, TikTok and Instagram, community projects, and research challenges. We need next generation of meteorologists, activists, and tech developer to take this knowledge further to make it actionable, accessible, and innovative. So, how do we live with ENSO? Accept its presence. ENSO is a part of Earth's climate rhythm, understand its patterns, monitor, forecast, and study its impact, communicate clearly, bring science to communities in ways they trust, act early and locally, adapt agriculture, infrastructure, health, and education, invest in resilience, not just building but institutions and a human capital. This is not just a weather phenomenon, it's a challenge to our system, our planning, and our solidarity. And let me leave you with these three reflections. ENSO is here to stay. What matters now is how we respond. Forecasts are powerful if we act on them. Indonesia can lead, not just experiencing ENSO, but in showing the world how to adapt to it. Let's turn this challenge into a source of strength. Let's make Indonesia not just a victim of ENSO, but a global leader in climate resilience. Thank you. Mari kita siaga iklim, mari kita tangguh.